Hey, I'm Veronica Wasek, and I help virtual bookkeepers to become confident professionals and business owners. After doing hundreds of QuickBooks Online cleanup projects, I have learned a lot of lessons, and really I feel like I've seen it all by now. And I have certainly made my share of mistakes. So in this video, I will share with you the biggest lessons I have learned from doing QuickBooks Online cleanup projects. Lesson number 1, diagnose the books before starting the cleanup. So you know what it's like when you take on that new cleanup client, and what does your client think that the cleanup looks like? Oh, it's just simple. We're just going to fix a few things, reconcile the books, whatever that means to them. But the reality is that we have a giant mess. And typically we're not getting paid to diagnose the books. I certainly wasn't getting paid to diagnose the books when I was taking on cleanup clients. I had big surprises during the cleanup. I was getting paid by the hour. My client really didn't see the value of working with me. And at the end, because I spent so many hours working on these cleanups with no idea what I was getting into, the client didn't want to pay me. So the strategy that I came up with was to do a paid diagnostic review before I ever started the cleanup. And that was the big takeaway for me. My biggest and most profitable lesson really is doing the paid diagnostic review. The first goal of doing that paid diagnostic review is to get a full scope of work before I ever do the cleanup. And the second goal is to get paid to assess the books. So I put together a checklist, and here's a sample of my checklist that I used to check the income section of the books. And I also put together a report of findings and recommendations to go over with the client. And here's another sample of what that report of findings and recommendations looks like for the profit and loss section. Of course, I have an extensive checklist that I use to review all sorts of accounts within QuickBooks, but you get the gist of it. Lesson number 2, stop trying to be a salesperson. This was a huge takeaway because I was never a salesperson. I was never going to be a salesperson. I wasn't trained to be a salesperson. I wasn't comfortable being a salesperson. I was struggling with, how do I sell the diagnostic review? How do I sell the cleanup? How do I confidently ask for the money? That was very intimidating for me. And so I put together a sales conversation. I decided that, you know what, I don't need to be a salesperson. I need to be an expert or a specialist like a doctor, doing a diagnosis and then recommending a service or a treatment. For example, what I normally will tell a client after we've talked about their issues is, here's what I recommend. So I'll recommend the paid diagnostic review. I'll recommend the cleanup. And then next I will say the pricing for the service is. So then I will tell them the pricing. And the magic phrase is, would you like to move forward? When you ask that of your prospective client, it takes all of the pressure off of you and off of them, because they also perceive that you're not a salesperson. You're not trying to sell them something they don't need. So by making a recommendation, telling them what the price is for that service, and then asking, would you like to move forward? You have an effective way of converting that prospect to a client without feeling like a salesperson. And lesson number 3, I learned to get organized and to follow a system. When I first started doing cleanups, I was so confused. Like, where do I start? What do I clean up? What order should I work in? How do I even know when I'm done? Because cleanups are really big projects. So I put together a cleanup workflow. I broke everything down into steps so that I could work in order and not get overwhelmed. So, for example, I started with a signed service agreement and a paid invoice, went through onboarding, planning the cleanup, doing the cleanup, communication with the client, resolving issues, reviewing my work, reviewing my team's work, finishing the cleanup, and then having a meeting with the client. one of the key takeaways from systematizing all of that was that I put together a cleanup checklist. And as you can see from the left, there are many areas that we need to address when we're doing a cleanup. Some of them are doing your bank reconciliations, making sure that undeposited funds is cleaned up, and going over the profit and loss accounts, balance sheet accounts, inventory, etc. So let me know in the comments, what are your biggest challenges when doing cleanup projects? I'd love to hear from you. I'm Veronica Wasek. If this content is helping you, then make sure that you subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, and give me a thumbs up. Check the description below for my free Smart Review checklist so you can learn how to review your prospective clients' books in 15 minutes or less. Also look for the link to join my Facebook community and the link to learn more about my online academy for virtual bookkeepers. I'll see you next time.